Here's a Garrard Ap76 old deck which I picked up, which needs servicing. Some of the functions don't work apparently. It's mounted in the plinth with the old Perspex lid. Garrard automatic transcription turntable looks pretty good. All the parts and knobs are fine. Apparently to remove the deck, it's a rubber idler wheel, which would be worth doing. The turntable's stuck down by adhesive tape, but looks like it's going to come off pretty easy. Yep, and complete with the middle part. And looks like it's held on by some screws to release the deck. And underneath the there you go, the base plate has fallen off anyway, and you can see all the inside. Some metal, cleaning it, re-lubing it, checking what's sticking if anything, and putting it back together again. So, oops, let's that's the tracking force flipped up and down. I don't know what it's got a Goldring cartridge in it, so yep, that's good. So I'll take that off and do some cleaning and lubrication, check it out. Taking the platter off. You can get some information on the internet about maintenance of this deck. It helps you learn how to remove the turntable and do some adjustments. Of course, it doesn't tell you anything further than that in detail, as they wouldn't expect a normal person to strip and rebuild all the mechanism. Anyway, I've taken the platter off. This is the one where it pivots on this hardened ceramic or very hard ball, which rests on this hardened steel center part. So that takes the whole turntable there, and which means it's pretty rumble free, hopefully. And you have to make sure that this the bearing where it rubs around there has got some light oil on it as well. And I put some very light grease on here, I think. Now, one thing I've found is this mechanism here is incredibly stiff. I don't know if it's supposed to be so stiff. I have worked it backwards and forwards, could hardly move it at first. So it's got a couple of springs on it, so I'm going to take this clip off and take that off. I'll have to make sure I know where the springs go back on, and I'll grease that. I use this grease here. It's very, very, very slippery modern grease, and it seems to be ideal. The rubber wheel is nice and flexible, and I've been cleaning up some of these, all these moving parts, and inside the operating mechanism here is not so easy to get at, but I'll check that, see if it needs any greasing as well. The pickup arm, I'll check that a bit later. I've already tried freeing up this. You could hardly turn this mechanism at first. It was like wouldn't turn past there, but I freed it up a bit inside, and I'll grease that up a bit more as well as I go along. Unjamming this mechanism here, which was solid, the whole shaft was rotating instead of this rotating on the shaft. I tried pulling it off with pliers, impossible. So I got my whopping great big heavy duty 200 watt iron and just applied some heat to the side, and just with some pliers, or just getting the end, actually it unstuck it quite quickly and it's come off. So I can now get all that mechanism nice and free. It's all working free now. See that? This one's free as well. So carry on checking all the other bits are free as well and grease them up. I've greased all the internal mechanism, and I put some oil and a tiny bit of slippery grease on the ball just under the deck, so that rotates really nicely now. I greased, this was sticking, that's all greased now, and works really well for a mechanical thing. All these switches are working, including the you've got the lift, and it's going up and down, drops slowly, and all these work. So I've just got to put the rubber mat back on, and we can power it up and just check that it works electrically okay. I've finished servicing this deck. I've re-lubed it and adjusted it. There's a number of adjustments on the arm for tracking weight, bias compensation, and most importantly the set down point, as this deck can do besides 78s, it can do 45s and 33s in auto. So if you set it to 45, it's going to set down on the start of the disc for you, and if you put it on 33, it's got 12-inch, 10-inch and 7-inch options for 33s, and it will set down in the right place. There's a screw in the side here, right in there, which adjusts the set down point, and it's just a matter of fiddling with it. Now I've got a 7-inch on there. I've set the playing weight. This is a Goldring G800 that is in here. It's all right. It's magnetic nothing fantastic, but probably okay. And it's a spherical tip, so on here you've got elliptical and spherical bias compensation. You set the playing weight to 2.5 grams, and then you set this side spherical to 2.5 grams as well. Anyway, so I plugged it in. I haven't plugged it into an amp, but just the mechanism, and on auto, yeah, you pull this down like so. It goes across. Set it to the start of the 7-inch, and then when it gets to the middle, it auto lift off, or you can auto stop it here. Or you can do it manually. You can operate the lift, and then you can move it to the position you want. And I think you've got to turn it on. And then it's quite well damped, so when you put play, it comes down fairly slowly. You can set the height that it lifts off the desk. Anyway, it doesn't slam down. And then you can auto stop it again. There, it goes down quite nicely. So that's all done, and I'll just need to plug it in now and listen to it. Connected it up to my old Rotel amp, which has an phono input, and just check it out that it works on auto. I've got an old 7-inch record, a 45. Seems to work okay. Once it gets to the middle, it should auto return. does. You can just put that on. Okay, that's about as good as I can get with that deck now. Probably working as good as it ever did. Let's check it out with an LP. It's working pretty good. To stop it before they recognise the tune, so we can do